am so excited to be back in the routine of making videos again, and I'm equally as excited for today's episode. If you follow my business social media, you'll have seen this post a couple of weeks ago. You may have been thinking, what on earth is that? Is it a photo or is it a video? And well, the answer is, it's both. And it was very easy to make. But first, let's roll the intro. Okay, so what we are making is a CINEMAGRAPH. It's basically photo and video kind of merged together, a fancy GIF if you like. Now they're great because they grab attention super quickly on social media because of how unique they are. Yet for some reason, no one really uses them, which means you will stand out even more if you take part in this photo wizardry.
You're a wizard.
What you're gonna need for this is something that will take video. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be your phone, it could be your iPad. I'm using a camera. You're also gonna need a tripod or something to prop up said phone or camera because it needs to be super stable. And lastly, you are gonna need Photoshop. Oh, wait, before you freak out and go, I don't have Photoshop or I don't know how to use Photoshop, don't worry. You can get a free 14-day trial to Photoshop, and I'd encourage you to do it because there has never been a better time than to learn and experiment with a new skill. I'm going to go through everything from the setup, the filming, the editing, and even the export process on how to make this. So if you're new to this, don't worry, I got you. Now, because it's a Friday afternoon and it's nearly the weekend, I'm lacking in energy a little bit. So I'm gonna make a coffee and we're gonna use that coffee as part of the CINEMAGRAPH. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is make a set to accentuate the coffee. I should mention, these first two steps kind of go together, so don't do anything until the next bit. I'm just going to add some plants and a light, and we're going to shoot it on a wooden palette and a dark background to make it super moody because that is my vibe. Okay, so now we're going to light it. Now the key to lighting is to make sure the subject stands out with as few shadows as possible. Obviously there are exceptions if you're going for a particularly stylized look, but for this specific situation we want a nice soft lighting. So you probably don't have a massive studio light, and although I have one, it's kind of overkill for this situation. I'm just going to put it near a window and use the window light like we spoke about in the last vlog. Now we just hit record. Make sure that your camera or phone is very, very stable, and try to limit your motion because it's going to make the editing process so much easier. It's also worth noting that if you're wanting to use this specifically for social media, it might be a good idea to film it in portrait instead of landscape, just so that it's tailored a little bit more to how you would view it on a phone. Okay, great. So the bad news is my chair is very squeaky and my coffee got cold. So I've got an energy drink and there's nothing I can do about the chair, I'm afraid. So now we are ready to edit. So what you want to do is you want to drag your video into Photoshop. It's important to note I have already color graded this inside Premiere Pro, which is Adobe's video editing software. You can color grade it within Photoshop. I just prefer Premiere Pro's Lumetri color tabs. If you want a tutorial on how I color grade things, let me know. I'd love to do that. Just type it in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Great, so you'll see it has opened up a video timeline. Photoshop does video. I know, like, who'd have thought? Anyway, the first thing we want to do is find the start and end of our clip. So we need to find the best place where it's kind of staying in a similar place. So we're just going to find that sweet spot in the middle where there's not much movement. So there seems like a good shout. So we're just going to bring that in to close it and then find where we want that to start. So let's just watch that back, see if there's much movement. Yeah, you see I kind of lift it up a little bit at the end, so we want to try and cut it before then. It's quite short, but that doesn't matter because it's going to be looped. If it's not looping for you, just click this gear head and make sure loop playback is selected. Okay, great. So you'll see that there's still a bit of motion and the beginning and end is quite jerky. This is because the first frame and the last frame are different. So we need to make them the same. It's more complicated than it sounds, I promise. Just stay with me. So what you're going to do, you want to grab this folder here and you want to drag it over to the duplicate layer. It's just that little X in a square. Brilliant. So then we're just going to zoom in and you want to drag the bottom layer all the way to the end so that it starts where it's ending. Okay. You then want to drag that out a little bit and then close it off here. So now the end frame is exactly the same as the last frame, but this layer at the top is 100% solid. So it doesn't matter, you're not going to see any difference. So we need it to decrease in opacity slightly as that clip is introduced. So what we're going to do, if you click this arrow, you'll see opacity. So you want to click the stopwatch there and you want that to be 100%. Drag it to kind of wherever, it doesn't really matter at this point, and drag the opacity down all the way. And you'll see that another little diamond is formed. That is a keyframe. That means that as this is going, it's slowly decreasing in opacity. So then you just drag this diamond and make sure it's at the end. So that means now the beginning of the clip and the end of the clip are exactly the same. So you'll start to notice it's got a bit more of a loop, but it's still a video. There is no photo involved yet. Okay, so to do this, we need to create a photo layer. So we want to drag the playhead all the way to the beginning and click Command Option Shift E. This is going to create a photo layer of the first frame. Perfect. So now you'll see there is no motion whatsoever. So what we want to do is we want to cut a hole where the coffee is pouring or whatever you're using, wherever your motion is, so that you can see the video underneath. So to do this, we want to click the layer mask, which is that there, and you want to select your brush, and then you're literally just going to paint where you want the cut to be. So you can't see it, you need to click the dash and then you'll be able to see where you're painting. So let's see what that's like. And click dash to hide it again. Great, that's quite good, but I don't like that. I kind of want a bit of the coffee in the actual spout to be moving as well. So we're just going to bring that in a little bit like that and maybe go a little bit wider. It doesn't need to be exact because you need to make sure that you've captured the splashes of the coffee. Great, let's see what that's like. Okay, almost. I've got a little bit too much on the edge, so that doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want to get your erase tool, or you click E for that. You bring that back up and you just rub out a little bit. Perfect, and let's zoom out and see what that's like. Great, I mean, you're pretty much done. You can now call yourself a photo wizard.
You're a wizard.
But now we need to post it. So we need to export it. So what you want to do, you want to go File, Export, and then you want to go Save for Web. Brilliant. So you need to make sure that your preset is at a GIF or GIF and not a JPEG or PNG. It might automatically be a PNG, but we need a GIF because we want the video to be working there as well. Okay, and then you also want to adjust your looping option. Make sure it's at forever, so it'll just loop forever. And then just hit save and choose where you want it to export, and then you're done. And that's it. Bish bash bosh. You've got a brilliant post for your website, your social media, your TikTok, wherever you put it. It's going to work really, really well. So go give it a go. Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you on Monday at 6:30.